Hi everyone, this is Ellie. The Maudlin Dream Floating Steam event is now out. Make sure to check the event duration in your time zone, and per usual, I'll have the link to the official patch notes announcement in the video description. Now, about the event, before we get started, here's a quick reminder that I have a Twitter account dedicated to Lovebrush Chronicles, where I post tips and reminders about the game and also updates to my guides. If you're interested, check out the video description and the pinned comment for this info. Now, moving on to the event. So when you first follow the tutorial, the event main screen will not look like this. You need to exit and then re-enter for this screen to pop up. So don't worry if you don't initially see the letter from a distance from the last event. It's still here and they can still be claimed until September 25th or 26th, depending on your time zone. So now about the, I'm going to call it the Dream Steam event. First, we have Interdependent Journey on the left here. This is where you're going to find your event story. So this event is technically the continuation of the Corridor of Fate event. So if you don't want to spoil yourself with the story, please experience Corridor of Fate first. To unlock the story chapters for this event, you need to complete event quests to obtain travel tickets. And basically how you're going to get this is from on the right travel ticket here, and you can see the quests that you need to complete. And so for each male lead, after unlocking chapter 3 of his corresponding storyline, you can invite him to take a bath with you. And so if you look in travel ticket here, one of the quests requires you to touch one time in the hot spring. Now for this, you just tap on him after you've invited him to a bath, but remember you need to clear his chapter 3 first. Then after unlocking chapter 7, which is the last chapter of his storyline, you'll obtain his souvenir, which will be displayed in the souvenir collection in achievements. And you can find achievements on the home screen down here, and we call it souvenir, but it's technically the trophy shelf here. If you want to change the chosen male lead, just go to the bottom left corner here and choose whoever you want here. Now, if we go back to the event main screen, Ice Breaking Battle, the second one here, is the event stamina farming stages. And there are 3 different instances here. Each of them drops a different event shop currency, so make sure you're farming the correct one. For this event, all the stamina farming stages share the same bonus illustras, which you can find, for example, up here in event bonus, and these are listed. Also, if you click on your team formation, it'll list the bonus ones at the top. In terms of stamina expenditure, my recommendation is to first clear everything, then farm difficulty 3, or your highest possible, of Ice Cave Adventure, the first one here, until you obtain 3,000 of these natural flower sachets total. Then farm difficulty 3, or the highest possible, of Snowfield Adventure, the second one here, until you obtain 2,500 of these scented ornaments total, and these are because of the event shop unlocking criteria, which I'll mention in a little bit. Now moving on, the Hot Spring shop here is basically the event shop. There are 3 different event shops here. Each of them uses a different type of currency, as I just mentioned. The Diffuser Workshop is unlocked after obtaining 3,000 natural flower sachets, and the Body Care Workshop is unlocked after obtaining 2,500 scented ornaments. And this is why I made the recommendation about stamina expenditure earlier. I also want to point out that you can buy the event exclusive avatar frame from the flower shop, which is our first shop here. So I already bought it, but it's right here. On a tangent, the avatar for this event will be obtained on day 2 of event login. Also, you'll see that there are Hot Spring R Illustrate packs. So these contain the exclusive Chibi R Illustras for this event. And these are currently not obtainable through any other means. These also do carry drop bonuses for the stamina farming stages, so I do suggest redeeming for at least a few of these early on. Obtaining the any Hot Spring R Illustra for the first time will also unlock a corresponding text message conversation. Now, something to note is that once you purchase the pack, it won't prompt you to open it. You need to go to your profile and then items here, and you need to open it and then choose the Chibi Illustra that you want. In terms of these materials, feel free to redeem whatever you need or want. Personally, I always go for skill packs. Of note, the small Pictura EXP materials are not worth it to purchase from any of the event shops, and you may buy the Feather of Dreams as needed. Now on the right, we have the top-up rewards, pretty self-explanatory. This is the time-limited top-up. Of note, this will end at the same time as the conclusion of this Hot Spring event. We also have Hot Spring Gallery, which directs you to the event Gacha. And then we have Letter from a Distance, which is the continuation from the last event. And you can claim these letters to obtain time-limited Old Dutch paints. Now, moving on to the Gacha for this event. Per usual, we have the Rate Up Choice feature. I already used it. For this event, the featured Gacha illustras are all SSRs, so it guarantees that the first event SSR you get is the one you choose. And the specific rates are listed in details here. As a reminder, the detailed illustra guides for this event are already up on my Notion site, which is linked in the video description and in the pinned comment. I do also want to mention that, very importantly, the time-limited paints will expire when this hot spring event ends, and these will not be converted into any other type of material. They will simply vanish after they expire, so make sure to use them up prior. Also, if you pulled on the Corridor of Fate event banner, make sure to check your in-game mail for any time-limited paints. Now, briefly going over the cards. Alkaid SSR is a self-sufficient main damage dealer that doesn't do impressive burst damage, but ults frequently, so overall damage output is good. Something notable about this card is the ult effect, where for every target defeated by the ult, this Illustra restores 5% ult gauge progression. Now, this looks good on paper, but doesn't actually excel in practice because of the low return, which does not increase with ult levels. But this Illustra does perform well on auto. Ayn SSR is a single target damage over time, I'm going to call it dot, damage dealer that can also amplify dot team damage. It can be a standalone, but it does perform better in dot teams. Unfortunately, dot Illustras and teams generally are and will continue to be less preferred. Cael SSR is an extremely focused healer, whose entire kit is healing and nothing else. Because of this, it's very comfortable on auto, and this Illustra is one of, if not the healer least reliant on ult levels. The caveat with that is, because its entire kit is healing, there's no additional utility provided. Clarence's SSR is a strong control utility AoE that can clear all enemies' ult gauges if they have status debuffs. This Illustra does all it needs to do at ult 1 and is heavily reliant on manual combat. You would have to consider pairing this card with a teammate that can provide effect hit rate buffing, but most importantly, pair this card with an Illustra that can reliably apply AoE attribute debuffs. For example, Cage of Guilt, skill 2, I believe, Waiting Cat's ult, and Coconut Lars's ult. And you almost always want to put this Illustra in slot 3. Lars SSR is a well-rounded, comfortable main damage dealer that, in my opinion, is more notable for its utility than its damage. What makes it comfortable is the survivability in its skills and the versatility in its ult effect, which buffs an Illustra's attack if that card is greater than 20% HP, and then heals it if it's less than 20% HP. If you're hoping to invest in this Illustra's ultimate, you can stop at ult level 3 or 5 just for maximum efficiency. So overall, the pull recommendation is, if you are interested in high difficulty combat, I would highly recommend pulling the Clarence SSR, which is incredibly powerful on its own, but even more so with Cage of Guilt. If you lack AoE damage, you can consider Lars or Alkaid. In terms of pure damage output, Alkaid may be a little bit higher than Lars, but Lars does provide more utility than Alkaid. If you lack healers, you can consider Cael. With all that said, please check out the detailed Illustra guides and SSR planning guides on my Notion site. And then in terms of the Pictura for this time, there is no event Pictura. And before I end the video, I want to mention a few important system updates. First of all, they've added a new weekly quest system, which refreshes every Monday at daily reset time. They've also added a new item called Double Zeal Charm, which is obtained through these weekly quests. These can be used in practice stages to spend double stamina and obtain double rewards. Basically, these just save your time when you're doing your stamina runs. They're also adding an Academia forum in social here. And you can unlock new forum threads through weekly quests. Now, these are just kind of like fun, interactive gameplays. It's more immersive for the Saint Shelter, like, school atmosphere. Other than that, there's not much utility to them. And so that'll be all for the video. Make sure to check the pinned comment, and please like and subscribe.